So some basics to sewing would be to obviously get string. If you don't have string, you obviously can't sew anything up. Another thing you're going to need is a needle. So this right here is a single eye needle. It only has one hole here at the end. There's double eye needles, and those ones are more for embroidery and more delicate kind of works. So they would have a line right here down the center. But this one right here is a rather large size needle. This is just to show you guys really like what it looks like. But if you're really doing work, you would use a smaller needle so to have more precise, more careful looks. Then you wouldn't be able to see the hole that this makes. You can really use any scissors for sewing, but I use, so this is like an actual like sewing one, and it just makes, it's a lot more sharp, makes more precise cuts, doesn't leave anything, like no frayed ends or anything. So this is a really good one to use. And if you're doing work for clothing, these are like a huge help. So they just pin the clothes so then the fabric doesn't move while you're sewing, because it helps with straight lines. So if you put this in your clothes down, you can just cut, or you can just sew right along here. So those are helpful for, yeah, clothing works, fabric works, that sort of thing. If you're doing anything with button work, you will obviously need a button. So this one's a 4-hole button. There's 2-hole ones out there. It just really depends on what look you're going for. This is definitely, I believe, an easier one. It keeps everything in place a lot better. It's more trusty. This is the back side. So let's see, the flat side's the back side, and then the raised edge, or like the side that has like the words or design, is the front side. So just keep that in mind when you are sewing. You can get all of these items from Hobby Lobby, Joann Fabrics, Michaels, Walmart's, Targets. They always have a crafting aisle, so go there. It's relatively cheap, and it definitely, sewing saves a lot of money in the long run, so you don't have to constantly buy new clothes if it rips, or, you know, go into an actual, like, sewing place to get your stuff done. In the long run, this will save you tons of money if you're, you know, looking for something to thrift, or if you're kind of creative in that kind of way. So, yeah. All right, so to start out, you are going to want to get some string. It really just depends on what length you're going for, or like what you're doing. So there's no set length. You know, it depends on if you're like doing clothes. It really just changes depending on how like big you want like the clothes to be and stuff, or what project you're doing. But for this, we're just going to keep it nice and short. So what I'm doing is I'm about to thread a needle. So I'm trying to get this little loop. So there's different ways you can do this. I'm just doing it the way I learned, and then it's just easy. Just goes right through. So then it's like this. So to show you guys again, I, towards the end of this, just grabbed it like so. So I just have this little loop. It's easier, definitely, with a 1-eye needle. So if you have a double-eye needle, it doesn't work as well. So, and then it just goes through and grab it. So then, yeah, just like that. So, gosh, okay. So, just like this, it's through. So that's how you thread a needle. Just little loop, pull it through. And yeah, the bigger the needle, the easier it will be for you. So the next step after you have threaded the needle is to knot it. So with this, we're doing a double-ended one, because you will use a double-ended one for buttoning and such like that. So you want to get the two end pieces as close as possible, like in length, and you want to hold them in between your pointer finger and your thumb. So with that, then we'll grab like the eye of the needle, and the string pieces closest to the tail end of the pieces that you're holding in here will wrap around 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. So now that you've done that, you can like push them down and hold them with your thumb, and then just pull like so. And now you have yourself a nice knot. So, and that's for such things as with buttons. So we have a perfect knot for buttoning. Right, so now to sew this button here onto a piece of fabric. It could be anything. I'm just doing just a spare piece. So keep in mind, this side is the front side, and you would never put on a button like this. You would put it on with the flat side against the fabric. So you always start from the back of the fabric. You would never poke up from the front. So this is a really big needle, so you might see the holes, but it's for a button. So this is the one that has the knot in the back, so it won't come through because of the knot. And so then you will also put it through one of the holes in the needle, or in the button here. So we have that, and we're just going to do like let's just do an X for design. So you would obviously cross over. You want it to be as close to the center as you can be. For this, you would choose a smaller needle. I just chose a really extra large one. And then, yeah, you'd come back up through the back. And I would do it again, just to really make sure that it stays in place. So then you always want to make sure that you pull through, so then there's no like loose pieces in the back like we have right now. So that, pull through, go back in. Keep in mind, you want to keep the spot in the back as little as possible. So, and pull so it stays tight. So we have one. And then we come back up through the back, and we will come up through the other side and go down. We will do it a second time just to be safe, so it doesn't break. Come through. It's a huge needle, so if it was good fabric, as you can see here, we have some of the fabric that came up with it. Good fabric shouldn't do that. So, but now we have the X. So with that, you come back up, but you don't, so when you come back up, you don't go through the needle. You come up here. So, and then you can wrap it around 4 times or so. Or just, I guess, how many times you feel the need to. But that right there just creates a base, so then you can actually like put it on stuff. And then you would just go back through the fabric one last time, and then you would create a stitch. You just like go in to the fabric and then back out. So and yeah, now you got yourself one super strong button. And yeah, this is what it look like here on the front. If you really wanted to, you could probably get that off there. I don't know very many people who inspect buttons that close. But if you're all about, you know, making everything perfect, you don't have to worry about it. So, and then the back, you won't ever really see the back, but it's strong. Then just cut this piece off when you're done. Then yeah, there you have it.